Hi, I'm Kevin Lennon, NCAA Vice President for Division I Governance, and this is the Division I Council Informational Items video. This video is intended for use for the NCAA Council members and will likely also be viewed by our conference commissioners and conference offices. We hope this video helps meet some of the goals of the Division I restructuring, including transparency, timeliness, and clear and concise communication. The good people of the council that represent you are included in the meeting materials, so please check them out. We have some new members of the council. I would like to highlight a couple of key areas of the Council Coordination Committee's summary. First, the Coordination Committee discussed the 2 daily fantasy sport game companies that were planning to offer college sports gambling opportunities. Many of you have seen the NCAA correspondence to those companies. The committee worked with the autonomy conferences to expand the invitees to the 2016 NCAA Convention Autonomy Forum and Voting Session. This will now include conference commissioners and all council members. The Board of Governors approved a budget request for a strategic communications plan. I know this has been of great interest to the Division I membership in better telling the story of the experiences of our student athletes. The Board of Directors' August meeting report is also included in the council meeting materials. Out of the Strategic Summit, the Board of Directors approved 12 principles that will help guide Division I. For several of these principles, the board will form working groups led by presidents. The Council and Committee on Academics will handle some of these principles as well. Finally, the board charged the Student Athlete Advisory Committee with creating ideas to further the summit principles. The Division I SAC will be responsible for financial literacy education for student athletes and assist with review of time demands and life after sport initiatives. The 12 principles from the summit, which now help form the Division I Board strategic agenda, are as follows. 1. Reassessing time demands. 2. Preparing student athletes for a career and life after sport. 3. Helping student athletes translate their skills. 4. Appropriate access to information about professional opportunities and skills. 5. Greater flexibility to return to college. 6. Benchmarks for NCAA rules setting. 7. Effective measurements for academic rates. 8. Values-based distribution plan. The 4 remaining principles are a reaffirmation of NCAA beliefs in the collegiate model, and these include, number 9, students should be competing against students. 10, promoting the educational value of sports. 11, reaffirming the 4 core values of NCAA sport: excellence in academics and athletics, support of higher education, integrity and sportsmanship, and presidential leadership. And number 12, an examination of the Division I's commitment to multi-sport sponsorship. The board also reaffirmed its commitment to issues related to the health and safety of our student athletes, and these, combined with the 12 principles, form the Division I Board strategic agenda. The board also established and populated an administrative committee to operate on its half between meetings. The committee members will include the chair and vice chair of the board, a senior women's administrator, a student athlete, and 3 other presidents. The board also created a values-based revenue distribution plan working group and a Division I sport organizational structure working group consistent with the principles that I just discussed. Members from these groups will be drawn from the board of directors, the Presidential Forum, the Division I Council, and student athletes. They will begin their work this fall. The new NCAA Division I Presidential Forum is also beginning its work. This was previously the Presidential Advisory Group, or PAG. The forum's chair is Kay Norton, the president from Northern Colorado, and the vice chair is William Rudd from Northern Iowa. And now I'd like to introduce Scott Bearby, our general counsel, to provide some legal updates. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you. I'd like to provide a couple of updates going into the Division I Council meeting that are of note. First, many of you have read about the National Labor Relations Board decision involving Northwestern University's football scholarship student athletes. The NLRB, deferred decision on whether employment was an appropriate category for student athletes and determined that was outside of the NLRB's jurisdiction. This, of course, is a very good outcome and the appropriate outcome for the NCAA and its member institutions. That leaves only on the employment front in a case involving the Fair Labor Standards Act and whether student athletes of Division I are subject to minimum wage. And we have a motion to dismiss pending on behalf of the NCAA and all of our defendant institutions in that matter. We will keep you posted on any developments in the Anderson case, which is the name of that matter. Also, the NCAA scored a significant victory in the gambling front. It and the professional leagues had challenged New Jersey's attempt to legalize sports wagering contrary to federal law. And so the Federal Circuit, with jurisdiction of that matter, sided with the NCAA and the professional leagues that New Jersey's actions were unlawful and that sports wagering may not take place in that state. Although we expect an appeal to be coming, this keeps our championships host policy in place and New Jersey still eligible to host NCAA championships. We will provide any updates on the O'Bannon matter and other matters going into the council meeting. I will point out that in the Arrington concussion suit, we are still awaiting preliminary approval of that settlement. If that happens over the next couple of weeks, we will notify the membership right away of the next steps in that matter.
Great. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
And finally, I wanted to note some important upcoming dates. September 1 was the deadline for legislative proposals for the 2015-16 cycle. The membership will consider 72 proposals in this legislative cycle. A document that provides the title, intent, rationale, and effective date of all the proposals is in the council meeting materials. The council's legislative committee will review all proposals and develop feedback and recommendations for the sponsoring conferences. Membership comment period begins on October 1st. Any proposal may be refined or adjusted by the sponsoring body by November 1st, as long as they are relevant to the concept of the original proposal. Any amendment to a proposal must be done from November 1st to November 15th. The official notice of what will be voted on is December 1st. Official notice are still available for membership review and comment, but cannot be altered for the remainder of the legislative cycle. The autonomy business session will be held at the January convention, where autonomy legislation is voted on. The council votes on shared governance proposals at its April meeting. I want to thank you for the time you've given to watch this video. I know that the start of the fall brings with it a great deal of activity for all of us, but it also brings a renewed optimism and encouragement for what lies ahead. I want you to know that on behalf of the NCAA staff, we stand ready to serve you and to serve our student athletes. Thanks for watching.